that if this guy became the president of the United States, he's basically been bought and paid for by atheistic communist China.
No, they'll never take us under, because we're bringing truth like thunder. Raining on your speakers like a ton of bricks. Hold the cross.
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That's right. Terry,
it's amazing.
The Chinese has bought and paid for Joe Biden and his crime family.
Yep.
What
scandal.
Yeah. I mean, even Joe Biden comes to understand the mortal threat the Chinese Communist Party poses to America. He knows it, but he's so deeply extricated with the Chinese Communist Party and his son and his family. There's a great article here. It says China has bought and paid for Joe Biden and his entire family. In the classic movie, The Manchurian Candidate, an American prisoner of war is brainwashed by the Chinese Communist Party into becoming an unwitting assassin of an anti-communist presidential candidate. And very interesting. Leave it to Hollywood.
Yeah, really.
Leave it to Hollywood to sensationalize everything. But while the Chinese Communist Party is a master at brainwashing and is certainly not averse to assassinations, it has long followed a simpler script where American politicians are concerned. And the preferred ploy is for party operatives to offer a political's immediate family members sweetheart business deals.
Follow the money.
And they usually go to the father of the family.
Yep.
And they'll ask the father of the family to toe Beijing's line, communist line or else.
Mm-hmm.
Both 2020 presidential candidates have been offered, these disguised bribes. One candidate's son-in-law, President Trump, his son-in-law was offered a $500 million investment into his family real estate firm, Jared Kushner, but he recognized that it was a bribe, and he saw it for what it was. So he sent the Communist Chinese Party operative that offered him this deal. He sent him away packing. But the other candidate's son, Hunter Biden, accepted a $1.5 billion investment, and then Hunter Biden, son of Joe Biden, went back to China at least 5 times for more. So the communists, Terry, tried to infiltrate both families.
Of course.
And only the Biden family bit. Now, think about this. Nobody's going to pay useless money to a drug addict who got thrown out of the service. The intended recipient of this amount of money, this largesse of money, was obviously to Pop Joe Biden. Now, Pop says he knows nothing about his son's business dealings in China or elsewhere. And Biden Hunter, on the other hand, he complains in an email extracted from his defunct laptop that he was to give half of his earnings to Pop. So who's Hunter Biden's Pop? Very simple. It's Joe Biden. Terry?
Of course. Jesse, I just want to mention this article is very good, but I want to remind our listeners, it was Joe Biden that got mad at President Trump back in March when he closed the borders of China and their flights couldn't come in to America because of the China virus. And he said, President Trump, he's China phobic and he's afraid of China. And this is not in the article, but I just want to add that to the mix here. Vice President Biden does everything for China, but he forgets about us. Now, Jesse, there's one more fact that jumps out from Biden's record as a vice president. Wherever Obama puts him in charge of foreign policy as a point man, whether it's in Iraq, Russia, Ukraine, or China, every single time.
Family.
Exactly. America loses and the Biden family wins. See, Jesse, that's a problem. And can you imagine, Jess Romero, that if this guy became the president of the United States, he's basically been bought and paid for by atheistic communist China.
They own him.
They own him. Now, Rudy Giuliani, Giuliani, the former mayor of New York City, doesn't mix words about what he calls the Biden crime family. He says what Hunter Biden is a bag man. Now, Jesse, you've heard that in crime, a bag man. I've prosecuted...
He's just holding the money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He says, I've prosecuted many cases like this. He's collecting Joe's bribes that come to about Are you ready, folks? 12 million from the Ukraine, 3.5 million from Russia. But the really big money comes from China. And the amount of money involved is literally in the tens of millions of dollars. Jesse, let me ask you a question.
Wow.
How much money has President Trump made in the last 4 years as being the president of the United States? Nothing.
He actually takes no salary.
Exactly. And not only that, Jesse.
So he's working for free.
Yeah, but not only that,
yeah.
he's also lost his time to make his own businesses, private businesses, grow, which he could have done.
He's actually lost. You know how much the Trump states have?
Probably billions.
He's lost $1 billion.
Yeah, that's what I read.
He's become president.
That's what I read.
$1 billion, and he sacrificed that money instead of trying to make it up.
Right.
Because he cares about this country, so he's foregoing the profits in his own business. And again, he takes no salary.
Jesse, let's give the example of Hunter's many business deals in China, because before we do that, I just want to mention that Vice President Biden's been in politics for 47 years. Look at the assets he's accumulated as a politician. See, I find that very, very revealing.
You don't get that on a $180,000 a year.
Exactly, Jesse.
You don't get that.
This dude's been making
that's upper middle class income, Terry.
Yeah, he's just been stealing money as a vice president of the United States, pushing his weight around, and a senator and all that. This is wrong. Let's give the example business deals in China. Jess, go ahead.
Yeah, it says one leaked investigative report summarizes Hunter's many business deals in China. Mm-hmm. To take just one example, his private equity deal called BHR, originally worth $1.5 billion, is now worth an estimated $6.5 billion.
Okay, wait a minute. Time out. Yeah, and it even gets worse. Continue.
BHR is probably generating about $130 million a year in fees,
oh my God,
of which 10% or $13 million would go to Hunter. According to Hunter's email, half of the $6.5 million would have to be turned over to Pop.
Who's Pop? Biden. President.
That's what you call your dad in English. That's
course.
what we call our dad's Pop.
Exactly.
But the real big money will come when the Bidens sell their 10% stake in BHR, which at current valuations would be worth some $650 million. In actual fact, however, it will be worth whatever the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, decides to pay the Bidens for it. Rudy Giuliani sums it up by saying, Terry, Joe Biden's asking to be president of the United States, and he's in partnership with the Chinese Communist Party. The Biden family is owned by the Chinese Communist Party. This says it all.
I want to repeat that, Jesse, because this is really the guy that people are going to vote for. We want you to tell your friends. As a matter of fact, Jess, I want to take a minute here and remind all of our listeners, try and influence your friends to get out and vote. We just have a couple days left, Jess. And if we can get, let's just say we have so many thousands of listeners, if you can get 4 or 5 of your friends to go and vote the right way for life, this could really affect the election. So that's why I say, let's repeat this. He said Joe Biden is asking to be president of the United States, and he's in partnership with, I'll use the word atheistic Chinese Communist Party. The Biden family is owned by the Chinese Communist Party. Boy, if that's not a conflict, Jess, I don't know what is.
This is Jesse Romero, Catholic Lay Evangelist, and I want to thank you for watching this video on Virgin Most Powerful Radio. Make sure you leave a like and a comment on the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Find out how to receive exclusive content in the description below, and always remember to take the information you gathered from this video and evangelize everyone you know. Thank you, and full sheen ahead.